students, welcome back. Today I am Radha from Art and Progressive School, going to start another topic of the same chapter. The chapter name is Life Processes. So here under this chapter we have done different processes which is happening in the living organisms, and from starting we have done the nutrition, then respiration, then the transportation, okay, and today we are going to do the excretion, and this one is the last process which we are going to study in this chapter. Okay, so what does it mean about the excretion? Excretion means when we are talking about the removal of the nitrogenous waste from the body. It means that whatever the diet which we are taking, it contains the nitrogenous compound. So when they will get accumulated in your body, what will happen? They will form toxic compounds, okay, and as well as they will become the toxicity in your body. So the thing is required that this toxic material should be removed from the body. Okay, so here we will not confuse this term with the egestion. Egestion is what? When we are talking about the removal of undigested food, then we will call it the egestion. But here we are talking about the nitrogenous waste. Okay, so removal of what? Removal of nitrogenous waste. So here the term is excretion, and if I will talk about the definition of this excretion, it is what? Expelling of the non-gaseous nitrogenous what? Which contains the nitrogen compound. So what can be the nitrogen compound which is present? Ammonia, urea, uric acid, all these are what? These contain the nitrogen compound. Okay, so if the concentration of all these things will get accumulated in your body, it will become toxic. So here the examples are what? Ammonia, urea, uric acid, as well as some the pigments also. So here we all know that to remove this much toxicity, what is required? It requires the water. Okay, so again if I will talk about the ammonia, urea and the uric acid, right, it means that three of them, they are the toxic, but the level of toxicity is the different. It means that if I will talk about the ammonia, okay, so it is highly toxic. So what is it? It is highly toxic. And now if I will talk about the urea, it is less toxic than the ammonia. Okay, and if I will talk about the uric acid, then it is very less, right? So what we can say? Very less toxic. So what you can compare? To remove the ammonia from the body, it needs more water. What it requires? It needs more water. Like this urea needs some more water but less than the ammonia, and uric acid, they require least amount of water to remove from the body. Okay, so now on the basis of all the removal of the nitrogenous waste, we have categorized the animals and we named the animals, that is ammonotelic. Okay, those animals which are excreting, or which we can say which are excreting in form of ammonia, what you will call it? You will call it ammonotelic, right? And those who are releasing or expelling out the urea, you will call it ureotelic. Likewise, the animals, those who are removing the uric acid from the body, you will call it the uricotelic. Okay, so now you can imagine that those animals or the organisms which are present in the water condition, means that those who are living in the aquatic life, for example fishes, amoeba, all these things, right? So here we can say what they are releasing? They are releasing the ammonia. Why? Because here as they are living in the water, so the removal of this ammonia can be easier for, because the whole body is responsible for the diffusion of the nitrogenous waste from inside the body to the outside the body. Okay, so what we are saying, that this lower animals, what are they? These lower animals like amoeba and the hydra, they are releasing what? They are releasing the ammonia. It means that those animals, they are living in the aquatic life, they are mostly what type? They are the ammonotelic. Why it is so? Because they are releasing the ammonia and it needs more water. If the terrestrial animals, they will release the ammonia, what will happen? Then they are not having that much water. That's why in our case, in human beings, what they are releasing? They are releasing the urea, because it needs less water than the ammonotelic animals. Okay, so what we have said, that the lower from the lower life, in ninth grade you must have done about the animal kingdom. Starting from where? From the very basic or very low one, that is the porifera. Okay, so porifera or the amoeba, they are the lower animals and they are releasing what? Ammonia, and this ammonia can be released from the body through general diffusion. So what is diffusion? The movement of the things from its higher concentration to lower concentration. So if they are forming the ammonia inside the body, so they will directly send it outside with the help of this diffusion, because water is coming inside the body and ammonia is going outside to the body. Okay, so this thing is required. That comes to the higher animal. So during the course of evolution, what happens? They are forming the higher animals like we people. So what we can say, that they are having different excreting organ present in the body. Okay, if I will talk about the amoeba, they don't have any organs for the removal of this nitrogenous waste. But when we are talking about the higher animals, for example, the organism from the platyhelminthes onwards, okay, so they are becoming more and more advanced than the porifera. So from platyhelminthes you can see that some organ will be formed, and what you will call this organ? This is nothing, this is the protonephridia. Okay, so this organ is responsible for releasing the nitrogenous waste from the platyhelminthes. Likewise, cockroach. Okay, so they also need excretion. How they are excreting? With the help of Malpighian tubule. So Malpighian tubule is what? Again, it is an excretory organ. Then comes to the vertebrates, like we people, okay, human beings. What we are having for this excretion, that is the kidney. So kidney is the organ which is responsible for the excretion in human body, right? And we are here as a ureotelic. Okay, why ureotelic? Because we are releasing urea from our body and we need less amount for, we are drinking water for what? For releasing all these toxic compounds from our body, right? So these are the things which you have to keep in mind. Now, what is the function of this excretion? Why it is important? To maintain the body fluid, okay, or we can say to maintain the balance of the body fluids, it is required. So what it is providing? It is providing homeostasis. So homeostasis is what? It is just for the balancing of the things which is present inside our body. If it will get disturbed, what will happen? The person will not be get survive properly. Okay, so here we have started with the introduction of this excretion, what it is and how many it can be. Right, so now in the next topic we will start the excretory system in human beings. So now we are focusing only in the kidney, right? Because in case of human beings or in the vertebrates, what is the excretory organ? That is the kidney. So if I will talk about this kidney and excretion system, what is excretion system? It means that it is a proper parts, how many components they are present in the excretory system. So one of them, it is the kidney. So what the first one is what? It is a kidney. Then second one is what? Ureter. Then urinary bladder and urethra. So the diagram which I have drawn it here, you can go through it. So what you are watching here, that we are having pair of kidneys. Okay, so this is the first part of our excretion system. Second thing, what I said, ureter. Okay, it is the second part. Then comes to the third part, that is the urinary bladder, and fourth one is the urethra. Okay, now before understanding this thing, I just want to make you clear that what is the difference between excretion, okay, as well as what is the difference between the transportation. Okay, so during the transportation system there is a heart. What is the function of heart? It is just for pumping the blood, okay, just to circulate this blood throughout your body. Now comes to the function of lungs. The function of lungs is to oxygenate the blood. It means that whatever the blood it is in your body, as it is forming or as it is going to be the deoxygenant, it is moving towards the lungs, right? So what we have done, that from the superior as well as inferior body, in the lower parts of the body as well as the upper part of the body, all the deoxygenated blood, it is going to where? To the heart, and from the heart it is going where? Into the lungs. And the lungs, what is happening? There will be the exchange of gases, that is O2 and CO2. So the O2 will get enter inside your body and the CO2 will get outside from your body. So function of the lungs, it is the oxygenation. Now if I will ask you that what is the function of this excretion or the kidney, then your answer will be the filtration. You will not say that in your lungs filtration is happening, because here there will be exchange or the oxygenation of blood is going to take place. Okay, because from the blood it is releasing the CO2 and in your blood they are taking the oxygen in your lungs. But here in case of kidney, what they are doing, they are filtering the things which is present in your blood, and now here the blood will be the purified blood. Okay, so you cannot say that it is a deoxygenated. So the oxygenated blood, it also contain the nitrogenous waste, and we have to remove out this nitrogenous waste from our blood. Okay, so what is the function of the kidney? Just to filter the blood. Okay, and if there will be any nitrogenous waste, it will get filtered out, right? So the first thing which is happening, that is a kidney, and this kidney is the important component because it is responsible for the filtration of the blood. So if I will talk about the kidney, right, so you can see that pair of kidneys there is left and right. Every time when I will draw this thing or any organ in the page or anywhere, so it is having left side as well as the right hand side. So now you can see that this side is what? This side, my left, it will become right and my right will become left. So this part will become right. Okay, still it is my left, but it will become my right, and my right, it will become left side of this board. Okay, so now you can see that the right kidney, it is somehow at the lower than the left kidney. Okay, so this is the thing. What is the structure of kidney? It is in form of bean shaped. Kidney is in which form? Bean shaped. Now this kidney, as it is bean shaped, it contains the things inside it. It means that the filtration unit, it is present where? Inside the kidney. Okay, then this kidney is attached with the help of these pipe-like structure, what you will call it, ureter. So what is this ureter? It is a tube-like structure extending from kidney to the urinary bladder. So if there will be filtration of blood will take place, so from one of them, that is the vena cava, okay, through the vein or the artery, what will happen? It will bring more and more oxygenated or the pure blood into your kidney, and here it will filter out with the help of kidney. Now from the another part, it will send the filtered blood through the another one, right? So what we can say, that from one part it is bringing the blood and it will get filtered inside this kidney, and the rest of the part, it will again go back to your body, and whatever will be the toxic material along with water, it will go where? Into the urinary bladder. So whatever the impurities they are present, it will get enter into the urinary bladder with the water. Okay, we know that for removal of nitrogenous waste, what is required? Water is required. That's why we are drinking more and more water, just to remove out the nitrogenous waste. Okay, now once this will reach here, where it will reach? It will reach into the urinary bladder. So what is this urinary bladder? It is like a pear shaped, and this pear shaped will store the urine. Okay, so when it will reach here, it will form what? It will form the urine, water with the nitrogenous waste. So this urine will be here for the storage for some period of time. Okay, and after that, when it will get filled, so with the help of this urethra, which is a small opening through which this urine will get passed out from your body, right? So urethra is what? It is a small opening just to remove out the urine from the urinary bladder. Okay, now if you will see the zoom structure of this kidney, so this is the whole thing which you have to understand. It may be asked in examination, what do you understand by the excretion system? So you have to write all these four parts and their functions, right? Then here, if they will ask you in the MCQ or any part, you must be knowing the basic detail of this thing. So what do you understand about the kidney? Here, if you will see this zoom structure of kidney, this is somehow like this. Okay, here this kidney is having again some covering for their protection. So you can see that this part having what, some covering is there. And whenever we are talking about the lungs, we have used the word pulmonary. When we have used the word about the heart, we have studied that it is a cardiac. But when we are studying about the kidney, what term it will be there? There is a renal. Wherever you will see this word renal, it means what? It means that it is something related to the kidney, right? So if you will see the structure of this kidney, okay, so it is divided into two zones, the outermost zone and the innermost zone, right? So the outermost zone, it is known as renal cortex, and the inner part, okay, the inner part which you can see it here internally, internal zone, it will be the renal medulla. So what we can say, the kidney having two zones, outer one cortex, inner one medulla. And the thing which you can see that these are connected here, what you will call it? You will call it renal pelvis, which is the connection here. Then you must have seen that there is some concave structure, okay, some concave structure is present in this kidney. What you will call it? You will call it the hilum. Hilum is what? This is the thing. For example, if it is a kidney, okay, so this part, it is showing what? It is the hilum. Now from here you can see that what is there? These are the ureters, okay. So from here ureter is also connected, as well as the renal artery as the renal vein, they are also connecting. So this is what, after the filtration from the kidney, all these will go into the ureter, okay, into the urinary bladder through the ureter, this ureter here. Then you can see that they are having some pyramid like structure. These pyramid, what you will call it? A renal pyramid, right? And here if I will talk about the unit which is responsible for the filtration. So how kidney is filtering? Because they contains the different tubular structure. All these tubular structure, they are present at the renal cortex. So what will be your answer? The nephronic tubules, they are present where? At the renal cortex region. Once the filtration will be done, it will having the ureter, okay, and this will move towards this another renal medulla part, okay. So this is the thing about the basic thing about the kidney. Here we have understood that what are the different parts of the excretion system. Now we will understand that how it is working, how this kidney is working for the filtration. So now here we will understand that how it is working. So for that one we have to understand the structure and the function of the nephron. So in the kidney which we have drawn right now, okay, so what is it? It is a bean shaped kidney, right? And here you must have seen that there is connected with the ureter, okay. So what are the things? As we have said, it is having two zones, outer one cortex and inner one is the medulla. So here in this outer cortex they are having different tubular like structure, okay, which is the unit for the filtration, right? So here, so what is the functional unit of kidney? This question may be asked. So the functional unit of kidney is what? It is the nephron, okay. Why nephron? Because this nephron is responsible for the filtration, right? So here we will understand that how this nephron is and what its function. So now this nephron we have divided into two parts, Bowman capsule and the nephric tubules. Bowman capsule just like a capsule. And what is the meaning of nephric tubules? It means a tube like structure which is known as the nephron. So here I have drawn simple diagram to make you understand. You can see that this is what? This is the Bowman capsule. Okay, so this Bowman capsule is attached with the tube like structure. So from this part, from here to here, what you are observing, that it's a tube like structure, and here what you will call it? Nephric tubules, okay. And this part is what? This part is the Bowman capsule. So this Bowman capsule contains the tuft of capillaries. What are the capillaries? It means a very fine form of the veins. So here they form a tuft of capillaries, and in this tuft of capillaries the blood is coming from your body. Make sure that what is coming at the Bowman capsule? The what this blood is coming, because blood contains what? It contains the water. Okay, and we have done in the transportation system also that it contains plasma, right? RBC, WBC, so platelet. So these are the things which is present in your blood. So this plasma contains what? Water here. It means that most of the part of the blood in the form of plasma, and in plasma again the most of the part is covered by the water. It means that the blood is coming which contains water as well as all these things here. So what will happen? So as it will reach into the Bowman capsule, inside this they are having the tuft of capillaries. This tuft of capillaries will act as a sieve. So what is the function of this sieve? Just to filter the things, right? So here, to understand this excretion system, we can say that there are the 3 steps for the excretion or for the filtration. The first one is the ultrafiltration. Okay, the first step is what? Ultrafiltration. Second step is what? Selective reabsorption, right? Selective reabsorption. And the third one is the tubular secretion, right? So these are the 3 steps which is happening during this process. So the first step, it will start from where? From the Bowman capsule, and here there will be the ultrafiltration. What is the meaning of ultra? Means fine filtration. How it is happening? With the help of this glomerulus. So this glomerulus having the capillaries as well as wall which is responsible for the filtration of only small particles. As the blood contains RBC and WBC, these are the blood cells and they are having larger size than the water. Okay, so now we know that in our blood some calcium ions, some salt ions, they are also present, right? So the first thing in the glomerulus, what is happening? Most of the things they will get filtered here only. It means that whatever the important thing or the larger thing they are present in the blood, they will get filtered out in this Bowman capsule due to this glomerulus. So what we can say that RBC, which is providing red color to the blood, so they will get filtered out, means that it will remain outside, it will not get filtered, it will not enter inside this tube. Okay, as well as WBC, again they are required by the body, they will remain outside, right? Then comes to the most of the ions, sodium ions, salt ions, all they will get filtered out here. So what is moving here in this part? It is moving the only nitrogenous waste along with water. Okay, so this nitrogenous and water, it is moving here in this tubular part, right? So the first step is completed here, that is the ultrafiltration. Now comes to this tube. This tube is what again divided into 3 parts. So these nephric tubules, they are divided into 3 parts. That is the first one, it is PCT, second one DCT, and the third one is the collecting duct. Okay, so what we can say that PCT, DCT, or we can write here loop of Henle, okay, and here DCT. So now you can see that PCT is what? It's a proximal convoluted tubule. Proximal means it is nearer to the Bowman capsule. So that's why we have saying proximal. Convoluted, why? Because it is having some this convolution form. It means that they are having some convoluted like structure. That's why we are saying convoluted. Why tubule? Because it's a tube like structure, right? So this PCT is just connected to the Bowman capsule, right? Then after it, you will see that there is a Henle's loop or the loop of Henle. So the loop of Henle can be of 2 types. What are they? Descending loop and the ascending loop. Descending loop which is moving downwards. Okay, that's why we are calling it descending loop. What is ascending loop? Which is covering the upward part. Okay, so it means that it is moving upwardly, that's why we are calling it ascending loop, and both they are combinedly called as the Henle's loop or the loop of Henle. After that again there is a tube like structure. What is there? Again there is a tube-like structure which is in a convoluted form, but this time it is far away from the Bowman capsule, and that's why we are calling it distant convoluted tubules. Okay, so PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, and DCT, distal convoluted tubule. So here after this ultrafiltration, what will happen? All the nitrogenous waste will move towards the PCT. So from here the second step will start, that is the selective reabsorption. It means that the absorption, again this tube contains some more ions. It means that they have filtered out most of the iron, but still some sodium chloride ions, some calcium, some magnesium ions, still they are present in the filtrate. So what is filtrate? As we are taking any solution and we are filtering it with the help of any filter paper, so the thing which is coming downward, it is known as the filtrate. What you will call it? Filtrate. So here what you are getting, that this filtrate contains some important ions which is important for your body. So again they have to reabsorb. So second step is what? Selective reabsorption. It means that these tubules will select the things, that what they have to enter inside it and what they have to go outside it, because these are the thin tube-like structure, so the movement can be taken place very easily. So whatever the filtrate is moving in this PCT lining, this PCT wall, what it will do? It will reabsorb the things again to the body. It means that it is sending back the important thing to the body. So how it will give back all the things? With the help of the tube which is surrounding the whole structure. So you can see it here, that one of the tube, it is surrounding the whole structure which is known as the vasa recta, and this vasa recta again connected to this here to the glomerular. It means that whatever the thing is required by the body, they will move into the vasa recta, and this vasa recta, it is taking the blood towards your body. Okay, so what I said, that ultrafiltration has been completed, then there will be selective reabsorption, PCT. So most of the absorption, it will take place in the PCT. Okay, but the rest of the absorption, it will take by the loop of Henle and the DCT. It means that DCT is very lesser, that it will get reabsorbed, and PCT will reabsorb, we can say 60 to 65% or the 70% of the filtrate. Right now they have selectively reabsorbed the things which is required by the body. Still it contains water as well as some of the nutrients. And what can be the nutrients or what can be the minerals? Again the NaCl or the water. Okay, still some NaCl and water is present up to here. What will happen? You know that when there will be mixing of NaCl and water, what is it will form? It will form the solution. Solute plus solvent, it is forming the solution. This solution can be hypertonic also, and this solution can be hypotonic also, as according to the water concentration. If water concentration will be less and the solvent concentration, solute concentration will be more, what will happen? The solution will become hypertonic, and it is not good for the cells or for the living beings. And the second part, if the water concentration will be more and there will be less the salt concentration, the solution will become the hypotonic. Okay, so we have to prevent all this situation and we have to follow for the isotonic solution. Okay, it means that there is a equal amount of NaCl in water, that's why it will become the isotonic. So as it will reach here up to the PCT, at the last of the PCT, it will enter into the loop of Henle, and the first thing it is there, descending loop of Henle. So there is difference between this descending and ascending. Descending is thin in structure and ascending it is thick in structure. Okay, so this descending limb and ascending limb, they are having the different function. So combinedly we can say that what is the function of loop of Henle? That is osmoregulation. Okay, it means that it will regulate the osmotic concentration. What does it mean? That there must be no hypertonicity and nor the hypotonic. It should be isotonic. That's why we are calling osmoregulation. So one by one we will understand what is the role of this descending, what is the role of this ascending. Now still the selective reabsorption has been done. Now what is happening? Still if some of the things which is present or it will remain in the filtrate, it will get absorbed by the DCT, or we can say 10 to 20% it will get reabsorbed by the DCT. Okay, then after reabsorbing all the things, they will move into the collecting duct, and these collecting duct, they are connected to the different parts. Okay, it means that they are connected like this. So many nephrons are present, and all these nephrons, they are collected at the same place at the collecting duct, and from here it is going towards the urinary bladder through the ureter. Okay, so this is the whole thing is happening during the excretion. Now we'll understand one by one. So first thing is what? Bowman capsule. It is what? It is double walled. So if you see the structure of it is a cup like, and it is a double wall, and where it is present at the outer part, that is a renal cortex, right? Then comes to the lining. So these are the linings which is surrounded by the epithelium. Epithelium are what? These are the thin cells of the flat cells, so that there will be easily transfer of the things. Then group of blood capillaries, they are present inside the Bowman capsule. What you will call it? Glomerulus. So combinedly, when this glomerulus with the Bowman capsule, there is a one term which is known as the Malpighian body. Okay, so what is Malpighian body? When we are talking about this glomerulus as well as Bowman capsule together, right? Then comes to the glomerulus. So what is happening in the Bowman capsule? As the glomerulus is present, there will be the ultrafiltration, means that fine filter of the blood. Okay, now comes to the nephric tubule. So this nephric tubule having three parts: PCT, loop of Henle, and DCT. This PCT again, it is present in the outermost part of the kidney, that is the renal cortex. What is the function? Selective reabsorption. It means that whatever it is required by the body, it will get reabsorbed mostly in the PCT part. Okay, so what can be reabsorbed here? Some sodium ions, calcium ion, glucose, amino acid, all these things are present in the blood. So it should be again written in your body. If it will get removed from your body, what will happen? There will be some deficiency of all these things. Okay, then comes to the loop of Henle. Loop of Henle having two parts, descending limb and the ascending limb. As I have said to you, the descending limb is thin and ascending limb it is thick. Okay, so what is the function of this thin and the thick? So here, as I'm saying, that addition of salt as well as the water. So what is happening? This descending loop, it is permeable to water. It means that if the concentration of the salt concentration will be more here, what will happen? They can enter more and more water inside it, right? And this is impermeable to mineral. It means that it has not been able to remove the minerals from this descending loop. Why? If I will talk about this ascending loop, this is impermeable to water. Impermeable means that now the water cannot move from inside to outside or from outside to inside. Then this is permeable to minerals. So what is happening? If minerals will be more, so it will get removed out from the ascending loop, and if there will be more here, so what will happen? The water will move. Okay, so combinedly what we have said, that both is maintaining the water and salt concentration. That's why combinedly what we are talking about, that the osmoregulation, and here at this part there will be maintaining of the water and the salt concentration, right? So next, the filtrate, it will move towards the DCT here, and DCT is what? It is a distal convoluted tubules, and where it is opening into the collecting duct. And what is the function of this DCT? That it will absorb more and more water, because whatever water we are drinking, it should not go outside, because if all the water will go outside of the body, there will be the dehydration. Okay, so rest of the water which cannot be absorbed by anywhere, so this DCT is responsible for what? The absorption of more and more water. Okay, so that's why there is a third one, that is a tubular secretion. So from this tubular part there will be the secretion, right? So here we have completed how it is happening. Once all the things will get filtered out, so the nitrogenous waste will be outside from the body, and the blood is the filtered one. Okay, so here we have completed the excretion system in case of human beings. Now if I will talk about the excretion in plants, but before that, there is one term. If the kidney will not work, what will happen? Sometimes you must have heard that kidney failure. It is why? Because the kidney will not be able to function. Why it is not able to function? Because it will not able to filter the things. Okay, it means that the glomerulus will not be able to filter properly the blood, and that time there will be the kidney failure. And here we are going for the hemodialysis. Okay, there is one term, hemodialysis. So what is what? In which we are filtering, in which we are filtering the blood in an artificial mode. Okay, so we are sending the blood in a chamber box where there will be the filtration, and after filtration the blood will again move toward the body. Okay, so this is what hemodialysis. Then now what we are discussing, excretion in plant also. So the excretion in plants also possible. Why? Because plants, they are also removing their waste from the plant body. What are they? Oh, it can be the O2. O2 is a waste for the plant, that's why it is releasing outside. Okay. Likewise, during the transpiration, if some most of the water should be lost from the plant body, that condition is also a part of the excretion. Sometimes you have seen that the fallen down of the leaves, it means that where the food material is not present, it will get fallen down those leaves. So here this is the part of the excretion in case of plants, right? So here we have completed this chapter. That's all for today. Thank